Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
In this week's episode of the Kindness Project, we talk about drones, village people, and we have part 2 of our interview with Phil Billingham and David Crozier from the concert Rock for Ukraine.
Welcome, one and all, to the Kindness Project. My name's Chris, and I'm joined by a man who can't fly his drone, and a girl who hasn't got one. It's Russ and Charlotte. It was gutted when they told you couldn't fly your drone, Russ.
Yeah, you can imagine my dismay when I called 101, the non-emergency police number, and they said to me, no, you're not allowed to.
How did you find out?
I phoned 101, the non-emergency police number, and they told me, no, I'm not allowed to.
So you bought your drone?
I've just explained that now.
No, hold on. You bought your drone. You were ready to fly. What made you call 101 instead of just flying the drone?
Just there's a warning on the box of the drone to make sure you're not flying in restricted areas or.
And how big is the drone restricted area?
It's fairly big.
What, all over?
It's an airport space, isn't it? So
if I bought one,
so as
10 miles.
As I sit now, the restricted area is to that side and to that side.
Great for a podcast, that was to that side and to that side.
To the left and right of where I am, we've got an airport at Shipton, like a small aircraft airport, and a gliding place at Shipton, and then the Marham airport space the other side.
I mean, you could take your drone somewhere that wasn't restricted, couldn't you?
I could, yeah.
But
no point.
He's not doing it. He refuses to move with his drone. He wants to sit where he is and use his drone from there.
That's not what I wanted it for. So I got one of the ones.
You wanted it for fishing, didn't you?
No, I've got one of the ones that follow you as you're moving around, the GPS one, so that I can take it on my walks with me.
Right. And for what reason?
To record my walk.
Record your walk on a drone.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
And what would you do with the footage from a drone recording your walk?
Well, before when I was walking, I used to upload the maps to Facebook. But I think I need to upload the map and footage to Facebook.
Dad, can't you see the potential for really dramatic music videos?
Yeah, but Russell walking in a field isn't Tom Cruise jumping off a cliff, is it? Let's be honest.
Come on.
And you know what? I would like to see a music video with Russ singing I Am What I Am in a field in Norfolk. With just drone footage going and just give us a little bit of that, Russ, just so I can visualise it.
Pick a different song.
What will be your really camp theme tune, Russ?
I don't know. YMCA.
Yes, Russ in a field. Drone footage of Russ in the field singing
YMCA.
Perfect. But perfect. Or in the Navy. Either one of them for you, Russ, would be amazing.
or
Remember Dad had booked a single within the Navy.
Maybe I could get into that cosplay and actually wear
yes. Village people cosplay.
What do you reckon?
Well, we can also put him on a roof.
Right, yeah. How about this? For the next team meeting at the financial planning business I run, Savello, we all come as one of the village people.
I've got a stash specially for it as well.
Perfect. So what one's got a stash? I can't remember. Was it the policeman?
Yeah.
Right. Russ is the policeman. Who are you coming as?
I don't know. I haven't seen that video.
Well, the village people.
No.
You know the village people are, though.
I don't know the video, though.
Right. So there was a...
No.
Right. The village people contained a policeman. I want to say a fireman.
I think a traffic warden.
traffic warden, a Native American. Hold on, let me Google it. You two talk between yourself, and I'll just Google who was in Village People. What characters? Right, chat between yourself. It's a podcast.
That is right up my street. 80s music. I like a bit of 80s music.
I'm a bit more into, what is it you always say about my taste in music? It's quirky voices over guitars or ukuleles.
Right. Okay. So here's what we need to decide. You ready? So, the Village People included. Hold on. Some had the hit singles Macho Man, In the Navy, Go West, which is an absolute banger, and YMCA. All great songs. And the Village People contained a construction worker, policeman, cowboy, Native American, the soldier, and Glenn Hughes. I don't know where. Do you want to say this? Glenn Hughes' character hasn't got a job. He's just called
The Leatherman.
The Leatherman, a man dressed in leather.
I love a bit of leather.
Now, who should I be out of those? I'm not being the Leatherman. I want to say that for us. Russ becomes the Leatherman, mate.
Yeah, Leatherman.
What one are you going to come as?
The cowboy.
Look, you're doing the cowboy. What one should I do?
I'm actually doing this.
No, what one should I do? I think the construction worker is my bag. I mean, it's ironic. It's ironic, clearly, because I'm not particularly handy. But the construction worker, who are you going to come as a Leatherman, Russ? Wear your moustache and come as a Leatherman.
I've got a spandex suit, like a body suit. So I'm
Right.
Spandex man.
Spandex man.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the Village People's Spandex man. Where did that come from?
He's just using what he's got in his cupboard.
Yeah.
What else you got in your cupboard?
I'm utilising what I've got.
So where did you get a spandex suit from?
I brought it when I was going to the gym, and
Spandex.
it said it worked quite well.
Works quite well for what?
Exercise.
Spandex.
I bought it off Amazon.
Right, so I need to find out more about this spandex suit from the self-proclaimed man of spandex.
Not lazy. Let's put it that way.
Right, so what is spandex? Is it like a
stretchy material?
Right, so
sometimes it's shiny.
Is it shiny?
No, it's not shiny. No.
What colour is it?
Black.
Black spandex. Okay, you've gone like sort of, and is it a one-off suit or is it like trousers and a top?
Trousers and a top.
Trousers and a top. Okay, good.
You'll have to give him a belt to cover up the seam line.
Does it come with a belt?
No, it doesn't come with.
We'll get you a belt. Don't worry. Does it come with a spandex hat?
No.
A little swimming cap.
We'll get you a little swimming cap to go with it. Has it got a big S on the front like Superman?
No.
As in spandex man?
No.
Because if not, we'll have to get you one of those.
We'll get some Velcro, we'll get a big S and we'll put...
We're going to get Russ is a new hit superhero. It's going to be part of the Avengers movie as Spandex Man. You've got Ant-Man, Captain America, whoever Iron Man's going to be now, and Spandex Man.
It's times like this I wish my name was Steve. I could be Spandex Steve.
I think Spandex Russ works, to be honest. Don't you?
No.
All right.
I mean...
Let's mix it up a bit. Rusty Spandex.
Oh, no.
He likes that. Rusty Spandex. Right.
Just combine it all together. Russ Spandex.
Russ Spandex.
Oh.
Spandex man.
Russ Spandex.
Spandex.
That's my next website build, you know?
People, doesn't it? Spandex man.
I wonder if I can add to my LinkedIn bio.
Please, can you use AI to use
AKA
Mid-Journey
Spandex Man.
to create a character called Spandex Man in Mid-Journey, and can you send us a picture so we can? Is that all right?
I think I can do that. If I can get a picture of myself, I'll see if I can superimpose a spandex suit on it on Firefly.
Nobody wants to see that, right?
Dribbled out your mouth.
You're dribbling.
Well, the reason I am is because I'm just a bit confused about how this exactly. I'm a bit confused about how this conversation's gone. I wish I had time traveling abilities and gone back 10 minutes before the image of you in spandex is permanently imprinted on my brain. Right, okay, can we move on very, very quickly from Russell in spandex? Okay. And I want to talk today about kindness at work, because Russ sent me a link to not Russ. Spandex. Spandex sent me a link to an article about the importance of kindness at work. And we've got some interviews actually coming up talking about kindness at work. We've got Deborah Corrie coming up, haven't we?
We're running them now, so.
Yeah, so we've got some interviews that are all about being more appreciative at work and how we can do that. So this week's kindness news is all about that. Kindness fosters a healthy workplace culture that supports growth and resilience, as well as empathising with mistakes and learning from them. Writing informs. A leading researcher believes that leading with kindness has numerous benefits for an organisation's success, such as having difficult conversations and providing feedback in a safe environment. Avoiding these conversations does not benefit the team in the long run, shared is, and it hinders their growth and resilience. The researcher also believes that positive energy attracts positive energy. By working with people who share the organisation's core values, such as kindness, a healthier workplace can be created. She shared that her particular employer's people-first approach treats employees as individuals, not numbers, and encourages learning. Certainly something that we try and do as well. In addition, the researcher sees mistakes as opportunities for growth and learning, and explain that it's essential to reassure employees that they should not be afraid to make mistakes, because those moments allow us to flourish, learn from those mistakes and get better. Finally, empathy is a secret weapon when navigating business challenges, as it allows leaders to cut through the surface and understand another person's perspective, which can lead to the advancement of critical issues. I love that, and I think there's some really fair points well made. It's not about, I think for me, it's not about not being accountable in business, but it's about trying to deal with it in a way that actually builds resilience and helps people learn and develop in a way that they can help. I think accountability actually is important in any workplace, but the reality is if we can do that with a bit of kindness, it's really important to do. And certainly a culture where mistakes will happen, but we can learn from them is a big one, because I've worked in organisations where that doesn't happen, and guess what? The mistakes carry on. Nobody talks about it, and it never gets fixed. So, really important to have the ability to have that open and honest conversation. And I think you start that by creating a culture where everybody shares. So, I really like the idea. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's important to have open, honest discussions and sort of sort of like, yeah. No, I think you're right.
What do you think, Russ?
I think I'm working with you as well as on this project, and you do have an open open policy to come to you and with guidance, not just because I'm your brother, but work-wise as well. So,
that's always going to continue as long as you promise me one thing. Never wear spandex to a meeting.
I don't know if you've picked up on this, Russ, but he does this thing with his eyes when he starts saying something serious, and you can tell it's going to turn to a joke.
yeah.
And
I don't know what you mean, Charlotte. Right, okay, so let's move on to part 2 of the interview with Phil and David. Phil and David did some amazing work with the Rock for Ukraine concert, and we continue to share that story this week.
So after experiencing all that, you're thinking about raising money, and you know what sort of the impact of the Dignity Centre is going to be. How do you start organising an event like Rock for Ukraine?
Where's the connection between we're raising money to we're doing a concert that's going to raise money?
You're starting from the premise that we actually planned it and that we organised anything.
Yeah, and that wasn't the way it was. Like all these things, I guess we got so involved with the Dignity Centre, what we saw. So David and I then used our best offices to persuade the PFS to step up and appoint them as the charity for the PFS festival. And that raised a certain amount of money, and that was great. And I was sat at my desk trying to get back to real life, and the phone rang, and it's Chris Budd on the phone from the band Consumer Duty, who were put together purely to play at the PFS event. Hi, Phil. Well, the band we've been chatting, and what we'd like to do is play another gig. Oh, great. And we'd like to support we'd love what Paul had said. He was there, and we'd like to support Refugees Support Europe and do it for them. And basically, we want you to put a gig on, and we'll pay at the gig. And so I rang David and said, "This is the conversation I've just had." And David's response was, "Well, we can't say no because this is an immense opportunity."
Yeah.
Neither one of us had the first clue of how to do this. I think it's fair to say I was so far out of my comfort zone, I couldn't have seen it with a very long telescope, with a different time zone. And David will no doubt testify that I got quite stressed about things simply because if it went wrong, it let so many people down. It got so important, and I probably over-obsessed about it, to be completely truthful, but that's just the way of the beast. The band were very clear. They give their time very generously. They were fabulous. I mean, they put themselves through a lot of stress and put themselves out there on behalf of the people. So, that they've got to get given the main credit for this. But they were very clear that their job was to be the main event, and it was for us to put the context and the surround in place. So that's what we did.
So I suppose my comment as I was there was that it was an amazing night. Really enjoyed it. So you clearly did a brilliant job. I suppose the question I've got is, what skills have you got to learn to be a events gig promoter that you didn't have in your kit bag?
None. So I actually think the main strength that we were able to do was that we know people, and so we spoke to Ella at CityWire, who is Ukrainian, and I knew that, and she put us in touch with Stationers Hall, and she pulled some strings and got some of her Ukrainian friends to come along and to sing at it and to chivvy some stuff up. But it was basically a matter of then speaking to people who knew people to come and sponsor it. And the likes of Mark Block at the Lancat was tremendous.
So incredible.
Nothing other than that chutzpah of knowing people and making the calls.
Yeah. I think as well, it's that element of saying people are willing to help for a good cause, aren't they? You know,
Yeah.
you've got. Has it surprised you in terms of its impact, or what are your thoughts around that?
No. So I'm going to say that I was a lot more relaxed about Phil than I always knew that we would raise money, but I had no fears on it at all.
Yeah.
My one concern was that we wouldn't have a good crowd on the night because people are busy people and have other things to do. And I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think on the Monday, I think we had about 70 people going, which wouldn't have felt like a good night. And in the finish up, we had 200. So I had no concerns whatsoever that we would raise significant amounts of money.
Yeah, no, that's great. Talk to me a little bit about the impact of the fund. So the funds go to Refugee Support Europe. What's been the direct impact of being able to give them that money?
Well, David's given you the numbers. Because Moldova is a very cheap place, you're looking at being able to not feed with luxury, but make a big difference to the quality of life and food for somebody for £7.
Yeah.
You divide the one into another, and that's a lot of families in a small country that's not very wealthy. So you're adding a significant amount, and it means, and it's not only. It's a couple of things. I think it's one. It's a direct line. Money raised on a Thursday can be feeding people on a Monday. That's the impact of raising money, not sending goods. The second thing is, it's very, very, very hard to run a charity that's constantly asking for money and spending money on people, because you're projecting forward on the hope that the money's going to arrive. It is you're almost building the walkway in front of you as you're walking off the cliff. It's very, very hard to do that. And what I think that allowed to do, and you're going to have to ask Paul this directly, is for them to make that commitment to leave the shop open for a bit longer, to be that support, so that the families that are being fed there have a continuity. There's a security there that every other part of their life has been without.
Nice.
So it's as much psychological and emotional as it is practical. I think David's nodding, but you've seen this, David. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. So I think the figure that Paul gave was that it was about 1,500 families for a month, because there's obviously the cost of running the place, and there's a few other costs, but it's still not insignificant. So there's the direct practical that Phil has referred to. There's the psychological support. Don't forget also the fact that the money's been spent in the local economy. So that's important too. So we asked Paul this back at an event we did in at Octo members in October. Like, what do you want? Do you want clothes? Do you want? He says no. He says honestly, I need money. A van load of food in the UK is pointless because it's more expensive there, and I have to get it. Whereas over there, it's cheaper. It's the stuff that people want. So, for example, people eat different stuff, and it's not being racist or anything like that, or it's just that they eat buckwheat. What's buckwheat? Just for example, so they eat a bit differently because it's Eastern Europe than we do here. So and it's there, and you're supporting the local. All the stuff you pick it up.
It's a win-win, isn't it?
It's not brands that you or I recognise. It's written in Romanian and Russian.
Yeah. I'm sure Kellogg's and McVitie's don't need the money that much, to be honest. So the supporting the local economy is an additional win, as opposed to feeding everybody, isn't it? I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's better and especially with you're saying that a weekly shop for an entire family for £7. That's
It's not quite that. So that's £7 per adult, and then it's half that per child.
Right.
Yeah.
even then. That's like
Yeah. It's not a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, that element of, and I think you're right. I think that just period of when Paul spoke at the event, I think the point that I raised was just bringing some dignity back to these people's lives.
that's what, 21 quid for a full family
Yeah.
for a week. A weekly shop for a full family over here would be
A lot more than that.
£100+
Yeah.
So like, you know.
And I think, Phil, you raised a really interesting point, because I've now been following what Paul's up to at Refugee Support, and that direct action charitable work, like the work that they're now doing in Turkey, and we're going to be speaking to Paul on a future podcast. You know, being there when that support is needed, not two years later. Was that part of the motivation to make sure you partnered with them? What about Refugee Support Europe meant that you thought that they were the charity for you?
I think two things. One was the immediacy; they were there and running within 2 weeks, I think, and the need was now. And what we've learned over the last year or so is that speed of action is a super weapon, if you like. It's for better expression. And again, that's not just from a physical, practical point of view, a psychological point of view. It was somebody caring, somebody turning up. David and I, and again, Shannon almost became, not quite tourist figures, but we were spoiled in a very humbling way, because we were the people that turned up, and we've turned up a few times, and other people aren't, and people psychologically, it's, nobody knows where Moldova is, and you keep looking, and I've got this great big map of Europe and wherever, and Moldova's not on it. It keeps off falls off the right hand edge of the page, and it's the least visited, and people were, well, why are you here? And not in a bad way, but that. So I think Paul, going back to David's analogy, Paul providing something for the volunteers in particular, and other people to push on and turn up from different parts of the world, is a very physical sign to people that the story is out there somewhere. That some people do care. So I think it was that immediacy and that practicality and that emotional stuff, but also I've got to say the business model, and it is a business model. You can tell Paul's a businessman. That business model, and it's a very clear, strict, disciplined business model. That means it can be replicated, it can be implemented, all those things. So as business people, I think David and I looked at that and went, we understand the business model, and we understand where we can help with that business model. So there was an attraction to that clarity, and that clarity is not always there in other places.
I think some of the, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have had conversations like this as well, but when we have conversations about philanthropy with clients, they want to see impact, right? They want to see bang for their buck, effectively. And it sounds like Paul's been really good at making sure that the money donated is being spent in a way that's really powerful.
Yeah, so I can attest from personal experience that they very much do track those metrics. So the discipline actually sometimes is a bit, it cuts across the heart that people have. So, for example, when people come to the shop, they must have their papers. They must prove that they are who they say they are. And, you can kind of fudge around the edge the first time if they've got a photocopy or stuff like that. It would be a different piece of paperwork to prove who they are. But ultimately, if they're coming back a second time and they don't have the original paperwork, you don't get anything, because it has to be disciplined. And then you get people, these youngsters that are, we worked with two girls that were, in their late 20s, and another lady that was in her 70s. They were there because they wanted to help the people. I think we hate turning these people away, but we have to. And these. So the other thing about them, and I'm going to move on to that, is the people that they have such a heart for other people. It's just incredible. There's a lady there. She lives in the world now. She's in her 70s. And she, once or twice every year since she's been retired, she's worked with refugee support. She runs a market garden, sells the stuff at her front gate, and it all goes to refugee support. The heart that people have is just incredible. And these are able people. When there was a lassie there, she's born in Moldova, lives in Italy, has volunteered all over Europe. She speaks Romanian. She speaks Romanian, Italian, and English fluently. Speaks French and Russian, and she would say she sort of speaks German as well. Well, she speaks German probably better than I speak English. And these are clever people that have basically devoted their lives to helping other people.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I mean, it's an inspiration. I'd imagine going there and meeting the people who have donated their time and expertise to support him Paul and the work he's doing has been pretty inspirational. Do you want to?
So, is there any more plans to? Not necessarily any more concerts, but like any.
Hold on. Now you're expert.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to jump in here before Phil gets a chance.
Is there any more plans to hold any more events?
So what's next?
Yeah.
So,
apart from you guys taking a bit of a holiday, because
right. So I'm going to say two things. One, I would love to do it again, and I think there's a bit of interest out there in doing it. We've kind of sort of asked a few questions, and if we're going to do it, we'll probably need to get serious about it reasonably soon. I think we should do one up in the north somewhere, somewhere Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool, because there was a lot of people up there that didn't come down, would have liked to got involved, contributed, but would like to go. So I've made a few tentative inquiries about a venue.
Sorry,
so
did you say UK tour?
No,
guys, don't like. Should we do one concert at a time? I mean, come on.
One at a time. So if anybody listening to this has any ideas for a good venue, Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool, Sheffield, please get in touch. The second thing that I want to do, and I would encourage people to do, is go there. And this comes back to what I said right at the very start about. I learned this when I was there the last time. So Natasha and Sergey, the two interpreters, they're from Odessa. You need to come to Odessa. Now, really? Yeah, it's gorgeous. The restaurants are open, the theatres are open. The only thing you can't do is swim in the sea because there's mines there. I got to thinking about this. This is how I felt during the Troubles. I wanted people to come to Northern Ireland, and it really wasn't any more dangerous than crossing the street at Trafalgar Square. Yeah. And my sister has a Ukrainian refugee and her son living with her, and they're going back to Chernovetsky. Don't ask me to pronounce it properly, which is there, and they're getting air raids, but there are no bombs falling. So I would love to go to Moldova again, and I would love next time I go. I'm definitely going to go to Odessa because they need to know that people are listening and that people want to support them, spend things in the local economy. That's the second thing I want to do.
I think both of you at the start of the interview made a really important point about that sort of travel, because travel does, and it is a bit cliched, but I think a lot of cliches ultimately begin with a kernel of truth. That expanding the mind through travel, meeting people in different countries, understanding there's different views of the world, particularly when there's stuff going on in the world that we don't understand particularly well, is important, right?
I completely agree. It's a joy and a privilege, and yeah, I speak no languages, so I turn up and speak English and smile and hope I get through. Bizarrely, by the way, Chisinau, second language of Chisinau is English. The street signs are in English, the restaurants work in English, and there is no problem with that in Chisinau. It's not so true when you get the villages, but it's true in Chisinau. And when I said, well, hang on, this is very convenient for me, why is this the case? Apparently English is a cool language as far as they're concerned. And so to David's point, go to Chisinau, which is a physically beautiful city that has great wine, in case we haven't mentioned it, a couple of really nice restaurants, and more than a couple. David kept finding more that I hadn't found, and so those are on my list now as well. But I've never had a bad meal in Chisinau, and never been treated with anything but joy and friendliness and a willingness to help at every point.
Love that.
It's a very safe city, and very, with the street art and all the stuff going on. So Chisinau, and for us, it's cheap. David, don't mind me saying so. I'd booked them in. We booked this all in a hotel we'd stayed in before, and David looked at the price we were booking, and I don't think you were too sure what the quality of this was going to be, and you thought you might be roughing it, and I think you're a bit taken aback by the 4-star hotel that we were in for £70 a night.
Yeah, I was going to say you paid for the 4 night. We were there Thursday to Monday, and you paid pretty much what you would pay in London for 1 night for a 4-star hotel. To be fair, it's a bit more expensive. It has got a bit more expensive, but it's certainly nothing close to that.
On that particular point, how easy is it now to travel into Chisinau and over?
So it's a bit of a challenge to get to. If I'm really honest, we had booked. There are direct flights from Dublin. In fact, theoretically, there's 3 direct flights from Dublin to Chisinau. But I wouldn't rely on them again, is the honest truth. So our flight out on a Friday was cancelled on a Thursday. We ended up going through Iași in Romania, which is it's a 3-hour bus journey. It's not a problem. And on our way back, we were advised, don't rely on Air Moldova. They probably won't fly. Some of it is because of missiles. On the way out, it was airspace. And the way back, I think the flight actually went, but at that time we didn't take the chance. I needed to get home, so we did an indirect flight. We went Turkish through Istanbul. But I think what I would do if I was going again, do what we did, would we fly to Romania and get the bus. But there's a really interesting journey that you can take, which Phil and Shannon have done, is you can go by train from Chisinau to Bucharest. And it's an overnight train journey. It's a bit of an adventure. But I think I would want to go and spend a bit of time in Romania anyway, because what we saw was just fantastic, beautiful, and again very friendly and welcoming, and not expensive. So to answer your question, not that easy, but if you're prepared to take a bit of time about getting there and getting home again, it's
treat it like an adventure potentially. Treat it like a bit of an adventure. We did Charlotte and I did a trip last year. We did 15 countries in 28 days around Europe, didn't we? And it was good fun. It was
by train.
Interrail. So we did nice hotels, but we did sort of just literally flew into Copenhagen, did all of Scandinavia.
Yeah, we did 15
by train.
Yeah,
train, boat, and bus.
Right.
So it was good fun.
15 countries. I think we did 19 different cities because we were in like 2 or 3.
Yeah, we went Germany a few times, didn't we? Yeah.
And 28 days. It was
good fun. It was good fun. So treat it like an adventure. Sounds good fun. Where can people find out? I mean, certainly we want to support refugees, support Europe. We want to showcase what they're doing. But where can people find out about sort of Rock for Ukraine? And where's the world tour? Sorry, not world tour. UK tour first. Let's start a bit smaller. Where can people find out more about the amazing work you're doing?
Well, I'm not sure. I feel I'm doing amazing work. So I think my focus is very much on supporting what Paul is doing. I think David has eventually probably convinced me that Rock for Ukraine, the sequel, is going to happen and is inevitable. So we need to have that conversation. I think we've half promised people, and I think we've had a bit of a break, but time to go back and apply what we learned. That's very much down to the band. To be fair, that's not our call. But if we can make life easy for the band and treat their time with respect and they're up for it, then I think that would be a great thing. But trust me, anybody in financial services that is at all awake will know exactly what we're doing, because we will tell them loud and clear. The need is still there, so there is still an imperative. We've gone quiet. David's been to Moldova. I need to figure out what we're doing. David and I are trying to deal with an issue at the moment of getting mobility aids across to Chisinau, and that's proving to be a bit more of a challenge, which we think we've solved. I'm still playing with that, and that's on my desk to do today. I think the Rock for Ukraine website's still up. I haven't checked it last week. And we'd probably just riff off that. That's our good friends at Phil Bray and all his wonderful people at Yardstick, who put a fabulous website together for us for free, and were just so generous with their time and effort as ever. So, and I think that speaks to David's point about, we just asked people. It turns out we know some fabulous people. Some of the people we know, Ruth emceeing it. We just asked her, and she turned up. Tom's auctioneering. Who will ever forget that? That was an exercise in live theatre. That was astonishing, but made a difference. He really made a difference. So we know some fabulous people, and if we can't ask them again humbly and politely, some of them might want to do again. Marlene was brilliant. Marlene, I hesitate to ask Marlene for a penny more. She's just been the most generous person with her time and her expertise. So people, it's not just us. We were the front of it, but it's like being at the front of a mall, as David said. If you're on your own in the mall, you just get flattened. If your 8 mates pile behind you, you might actually achieve something. And I think that's what we did. We were the people at the front.
But let me extend a personal thank you from me and from sort of my experience of it. Just thank you for being the front runners and getting it all kicked off. It's amazing work. Well done. Thank you for joining us on the Finance Project today. We've loved interviewing you.
Thank you very much.
So that's part 2 of the interview.
Tis the end.
Tis the end of another podcast and the start of a notoriously bad joke. It's joke of the week.
It's part of the format. The joke's supposed to be bad so that you can pretend it's even worse than it actually is, and Ross completely laugh. It's the format now.
Got it.
Why couldn't the sunflower ride its bike?
Don't know.
Because it had lost its petals.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense, Russ, does it? I mean, look at you shaking your head on the other side there. That's poor.
I think that is poor.
Pedals.
Yeah. And on that note, my friends, have a lovely week, and we will see you on the podcast soon.
Bye.
Bye.